My name is Ira. I'm from Long Island, New York. My question is this. Isn't it, like, I know it's not, I mean, maybe it is. Do rabbis have to be married? That's the question. And the question I ask is because in the new Bible that these Christian Jews, they keep calling him rabbi. They call this guy Jesus rabbi. Rabbi. So I'm thinking he must be married, and if he's married, where's his wife? Where's his kids? So maybe you can answer that for me.
So this is an intriguing question. So it is a mitzvah in the Torah to get married and have children. So it is a one would expect, doesn't have to be a rabbi, just would expect a religious Jew to have a family, And as it turns out, this is very intriguing. There's no mention anywhere in the Christian Bible that Jesus didn't have a wife and children. Although Christians and even non-Christians just presume that he never had a wife and children. So I think it's just part of the Christian culture that, well, of course he didn't have a wife, of course he didn't have kids. And what's striking is that if Christians were to discover, hypothetically, that Jesus was married and had children, it would sort of blow up the whole religion. And you're going, well, why would that be? Because Christians view their saints as celibate, and that's a virtue in the Christian Bible. It's most famously expressed, celibacy is most famously expressed as a virtue by Paul in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And Paul claims to have been celibate and encourage others to be like him if they can. So Paul, 1 Corinthians 7, that's like an indisputed letter of Paul. He says it's best if you can just be like me. If your passions are as such, then it's better to be married than to burn. In the context, he does tell, spouses to be good to each other. It's not, but he definitely holds that not being married is a virtue, which is completely not Jewish. As the Torah says, in fact, it comes up very quickly in the Torah that you should, as a command, to be fruitful and multiply and fill the world. It's open mitzvah. Moreover, and this is where it gets very strange, moreover, in Tanakh, we are told that the Mashiach himself is going to have a family, going to have children. And you'll find that at the end of the book of Ezekiel, exactly we would expect to find it. The last section of the entire book of Ezekiel is messianic, is about the messianic age. That's how Ezekiel ends. I mean, explosive chapters from 34 all the way through 48. And there's much more messianic stuff going on in Yechezkel, but there's just unparalleled passages. And in chapter 47 of Yechezkel, the prince who is mentioned, enumerated, he's the Mashiach, enumerated, I think it's 21 times in this section alone. He's called the Nasi. One of the things I've shared with you in the past is that although the word Mashiach appears in Tanakh 39 times in the Hebrew, it's never referring to who we call the Mashiach. It's referring to a number of people, usually priests. The word appears in Leviticus more frequently because it's referring to Kohanim, to priests like myself. But Yechezkel refers to the Mashiach as the Nasi. That's very important. See Ezekiel 34, and also go to Ezekiel chapter 37, Valley of Dry Bones, and specifically verse 24 and 25. That's the Mashiach. He's called David. He's the Nasi. He's the prince. All Christians hold that Ezekiel 37, 24, and 25 is states Nasi. It reads in all the Christian translations as prince, and that's how Mashiach is discussed throughout. And the key part that we're very curious about, and that is directly germane to your question, is Ezekiel chapter 47, chapter 46, verse 16 and 17. So there you have the children of the Mashiach being discussed. The context is inheritance. Okay, so the Mashiach is definitely going to be a married person. And then we get into the weird part about what's the deal with Jesus. So there's no mention of Jesus not having a wife and children, and it's just people assume that was the case. It's not just that fundamentalist Christians assume that he wasn't married, had children. It seems to be just people just assume that's the case. The only source for that is Matthew 19. It's not like Jesus says, I don't have a wife and children, or anything like that. But in Matthew 19, verses 10, 11, so Jesus, there we are told, I don't believe the historical Jesus said this, that he extols the virtue of not being married, of being a eunuch, whether you make yourself that way or through natural reasons you're not having children, that is virtuous. So it's something very odd that there's virtue in not getting married, intrinsic virtue in it. So this is problematic. It's much more explicit, as I said, in 1 Corinthians chapter 7. It's not the only place. So Paul definitely did not have a spouse who was a woman. That's all I can tell you. More than that, I can't tell you. So right, so that's a very big issue. It's a very big issue because it's a mitzvah from the Torah. Now about him being called rabbi. So he is called rabbi quite a bit. I think Jesus is called rabbi. He's given that title, rabbi. I think about 17 or 18 times in the entire Christian Bible. Strikingly, I think he's called rabbi more frequently in the book of John. In a way, the least, this is going to be misunderstood, but the least Jewish of the Gospels, in a sense, means the most highly developed of the Gospels. John is just, is filled with sort of contradictions in that we have this high Christology, the prologue, and then you have terms like rabbi being used a considerable number of times in the book of John. So that's unusual. The word Messiah used, not Christos, but literally Messiah, transliterated in the Greek. So so we do have Jesus being called rabbi. We also have Jesus saying that no one should be called a rabbi in Matthew 23. I don't know how the Messianic movement gets around that because they call everybody a rabbi. So in short, the Mashiach would have a wife, children. We see that in Yechezkel. It's a mitzvah to have, it's a commandment to have children. And the problem, of course, always comes down to the following, and that is the historical Jesus, like who is the real historical Jesus? The problem in answering that question is we have no non-Christian sources for that. So, but certainly the church came to believe that Jesus was never married and certainly never had children. That would be completely, utterly incompatible with the image of Jesus, or that, and that's why the notion that Mary, who Roman Catholics celebrate and the Orthodox, the Roman Catholics venerate and the Orthodox do as well. Mary is portrayed as someone who did not engage in any intimate activity throughout her life. And anyways, it goes on and on, right? So none of this is compatible with Tanakh at all. It is compatible with Gnostic ideas, Manichaeist ideas that would sort of cook, Augustine famously comes from the world of Manichaeism, a complete separation from the pleasures of this world. So that's where the New Testament finds itself theologically, culturally, not in Jerusalem. Thank you for your question.
Guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, go to Rabbi Singer's channel as well, and also don't forget his 2-volume book set, Let's Get Biblicals, Volume 1 and 2. The audio files are available, but the CDs are not, but they're available on his website.
The MP3. Let me say, I want to just one other thing for you guys. Listen carefully. No attention to that man. No, listen to me. It's so important. If you believe in the work that William is doing, that we're doing here, whenever you watch any of our videos, please like it and please share it. It's very important because it really affects the algorithm so that our videos are spread around. So really it's very, very important that whenever you see a video of William, a video of mine, it's very important to like it. I hope we like it. Yeah. But if you do, don't just pass it. Just make sure you like it and make sure that you subscribe to channels because it really has a very big impact on spreading Torah throughout the world. It's very, very important. You should really go through our videos and make sure that those videos that you haven't liked yet, you do like them. It really has a very, very big impact on spreading this message. Anyway, shalom.
Yeah. And commenting on them also helps generate views as well, so it kind of refreshes them on the system. So, Rabbi, thank you. Great show, and we'll see you, Hashem willing, same time, same place next week. Shalom, everyone. Bye.
If you enjoy this channel and the content, and it has changed your life, or perhaps the life of a loved one or a close friend, would you please consider supporting this work? You can click this link and it'll take you directly to my website with the donate button. Or there's a Patreon link and a mailing address for snail mail if you would prefer. If you do donate, please do me a favor and leave me a phone number where I can contact you and thank you properly. I hope you all have a wonderful 2025. Shalom.